Welcome to FinTech Matrix, where tech meets money and trends become power. You heard it here first. Today is Sunday, July 13th, 2025, and we're diving into the key headlines that shaped your financial world over the past 48 hours. First in finance, from Trump's aggressive new tariffs to record-breaking rallies on the FTSE, Bitcoin's all-time high, and earnings warnings from BP and Shell. Then in tech, we covered JPMorgan's bold move to charge fintechs for data access, massive funding rounds in AI and fintech, and digital adoption sweeping U.S. banks. Finally, actionable insights for what you should do now. Grab your cup coffee. Let's unpack what matters to your wallet and your world. Let's start with what's moving the markets. Here's your finance update. Markets surge and stumble, UK gains. US faces tariff shock. On July 10th, the FTSE 100 hit a fresh intraday record, led by gains in mining and commodity-linked sectors. This followed renewed confidence in global demand after upbeat signals from China. Across the Atlantic, U.S. markets paused after Nvidia briefly crossed a $4 trillion valuation. Airline stocks gained, with Delta soaring on a strong Q3 forecast. But on July 11th, markets turned sharply. President Trump imposed a 35% tariff on Canadian goods starting August 1st, rattling investor confidence and dragging down futures. The energy sector was hit particularly hard as BP and Shell issued Q2 profit warnings, citing falling oil prices and the latest OPEC Plus production lift. Europe and global outlook. In the UK, GDP posted a surprise contraction, raising fears of economic stagnation. Meanwhile, European stocks 600 companies saw a broad dip in earnings. G20 finance ministers met in South Africa, where discussions centered around sovereign debt relief and climate finance for developing economies, signaling potential shifts in global capital flows. Corporate and M&A watch. UK-based OVO Energy named Dame Jane Ngadia as board chair, reinforcing leadership as it navigates merger talks with Scottish Power. In satellite infrastructure, France and the UK committed to new funding for Eutelsat, aiming to strengthen Europe's presence in global space tech. Crypto markets. Bitcoin's breakout. Bitcoin surged across both days. On July 10th, it pierced $112,000. On July 11th, it touched a new record near $118,000. The rally drove crypto-related stocks upward. Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Riot, and Marathon Digital all saw double-digit percentage gains. Behind the move, institutional accumulation, softening Fed stance, and growing sentiment that crypto is once again a mainstream asset class. Rate watch. Fed and Bow in focus. Federal Reserve officials, Waller and Daly, floated the possibility of a July rate cut, depending on inflation data. Meanwhile, the Bank of England held firm, watching for signals amidst weak GDP growth and volatile inflation. Finance wrap-up. Bottom line, global markets are recalibrating, surging on optimism one day, bracing for policy shocks the next. Whether it's tariffs, crypto momentum, or GDP surprises, the signals are mixed, and investors are watching every move. Now, from finance to innovation, let's head into the tech sector. Here's your tech update. JPMorgan targets fintechs. Data access fees begin. On July 11th, JPMorgan Chase announced plans to charge fintech firms for access to customer banking data. The pricing will vary by service, with potential consequences for PayPal, Block, Visa, and MasterCard. This marks a sharp turn in the open banking debate, signaling that traditional institutions want tighter control and monetization of digital financial data. Startup funding surges, AI and fintech in focus. On July 10th, several startups secured major funding rounds. Cerebrium raised $8.5 million to scale its multimodal AI platform. Belong closed a $5 million seed round to build a fintech service for global NRIs. ALTR, a UK low-alcohol beverage tech firm, secured another $5 million to expand into U.S. markets. Larger fundraisers included iCapital, $820 million, Spansio, $250 million, Varda Space Industries, $187 million, Harmonic, $100 million. These deals indicate strong investor appetite for next-gen fintech infrastructure and applied AI technologies. Executive appointments reshape the landscape. Bank of London appointed Hannah Rawls as Chief Commercial Officer to expand its global payments platform. Finova brought on Ray Berry to strengthen client services across mortgage and savings products. Finam, fresh off a €92 million raise, tapped Tajana Kovacevic as Chief People Officer to support organizational growth. These hires reflect how fintech firms are prioritizing scalability and operational maturity as investor scrutiny intensifies. Tech integration, community banks go digital. A Treasury Prime survey revealed 55% of U.S. community banks modernized their tech stacks in the last 18 months. 40% are implementing real-time payment systems, a direct push to compete with larger banks and fintech challengers. The data confirms that digital infrastructure is no longer optional, it's central to survival. Tech wrap-up. In summary, the tech finance line is blurring. JPMorgan is rewriting data rules, startups are raising at pace, and legacy institutions are pivoting fast. Whether you're in payments, AI, or banking, the stakes are rising. Now let's close out with your recap and next steps. Here's the FinTech Matrix wrap-up. And that wraps up today's breakdown. From FTSE highs and tariff tremors to Bitcoin's rally and JPMorgan's fintech shift, it's clear, finance and tech aren't just converging, they're colliding. Whether you're tracking Fed rate pivots, monitoring crypto resilience, or watching AI rewire the market, your edge is staying informed. If this video helped you understand the week's biggest moves, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a financial insight that matters. Question for you. Should banks be allowed to charge fintechs for customer data access, or does this undermine open banking? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And remember, this is FinTech Matrix, delivering money, tech, and trends to your doorstep. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.